Hey crafters, this is Mai here. So today what we are going to do, we are going to assemble our 3D Shamrock box. Now, as you can see, I have all of my pieces. They are cut out and I'm going to go through what all the different pieces are because there were a lot of different ones and some of them look exactly the same, but they're actually different. So we're going to walk through them. So as you can see, I have these three pieces right here. This is the top layer of this layered top that's going to be part of the lid of our shamrock here. So I've got this dark green one, this lighter green one, and then these two are going to get glued to the shamrock that has the square on them. Okay, so these three are going to go together. And we're going to use this long piece that has the score lines on it, but it also has the square. This is where we're going to start. So we've got a square here and then a square on this one here. So these two are going to be our starting pieces that are going to be part of our lid, okay? Now, the second piece that's going to go here with the lid is going to be one of these two. Now, these two are completely identical. You'll see the other pieces, the other side pieces here, they have tabs on them. They're completely identical. However, the one difference is when you line them both up together, one piece is slightly bigger than the other. You can see it right here. There should be a little bit of a line that you can see, and the bottom piece underneath is slightly larger than the top piece. That piece is going to go with the lid. Now, process of elimination, we'll leave the second side piece here that has the circle on it and the other smaller side piece, okay? Now, we've got 3 shamrocks left, but 2 of these shamrocks have triangles on them. These are going to be the inserts that go with the base and the lid of our box. So the 2 pieces that have the shamrock, have the triangle, put them off to the side. We're going to save those towards the end, okay? And that will leave us with this one lone shamrock that has no score line on it, okay? So that's how we're going to know. All right, so here we go. Let's get started. So I've got the 3 pieces that I'm going to need here for my lid. It's got the square. The shamrock has the square. The first piece that I'm going to use also has the square. I have my art glitter glue here that I'm going to be using for all of my gluing. And I also have my bone folder. This is going to be a personal choice if you want to use it. I'm probably just going to go ahead and use my hands for all of my folding here. All right, so let's get going. Okay, so I've got my square piece here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold all of the tabs down right along this side piece here. So just fold them all down as you're going. And then the next thing, I want to fold along all of these score lines. So just fold them there. And then before we start to glue, we also want to take our finger or our thumb, or you could use a glue stick. I don't think I have one here. This is a smaller one, but you could use a glue stick to kind of roll along the paper here to bend it. I'm just going to use my thumb because sometimes I find that's just easier, okay? The only reason why we want to kind of bend this is we want to break up some of the fibers here in the paper because our entire shamrock is going to be curved. And so this is going to be a little bit of a harder one to put together, okay? So I've got everything curved here, and now we're ready to start gluing. I'm also going to go the other way here with my finger, okay? So make sure you're going kind of both ways just to really break up those fibers there. Okay, so we've got our square, we've got our square. This is where we're going to begin. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue right here, and let me I've been crafting, and so I think my glue might have been sitting out for a little bit too long. So, okay, let's try it, take 2. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start by just adding a little bit of glue along the edge right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two squares here, and they're going to meet together right along the edge there. And you just want to take your time as you're gluing. Make sure that you can see it on both sides, whether it's this way or it's this way. Most important, you do kind of want to make sure that you're checking it here on the outside, because this is what's going to be visible from the top of the lid. Okay, so I've got these going, and you can see it right here along the edge. Take your time with it. It's going to be very difficult because this is a completely curved angle, and so you're just going to have to take your time. The whole shamrock's going to be all curves, so just take your time with it there. All right. All right, so we've got this part. I've got one more little piece right here. Just going to add a little dab of glue right in there. And then once you've come to the end here where it's meeting, this is where we're going to have our first fold. And so you can see your score lines right there. It's already ready for you. It's going to make it a lot easier. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue to the other part of the shamrock there. And then just start to glue down that side as well. Okay. And so just take your time. I'm trying to decide if I want to speed up the video here for this one. I don't know. For the most part, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Maybe I'll speed it up for the base as we're going, and we'll do this one together. As you're gluing, you only want to do a little bit at a time, and it's okay to pause along the way and give it some time to dry as well. Super important, because as you're gluing, you don't want anything to come up. And so there's a little bit of glue right there. Hopefully I'm still in my camera. I always get nervous that I'm gonna come out because I bring the design closer to me, and I'm always afraid that I'm gonna miss it there. So I'm gonna add a little bit more glue here. And so I'm ready for the next fold. And all right, let's just go this way. And so once you start to get glue on the edge there, it'll actually be a little bit easier because the glue will already begin to start to dry and to adhere the paper together. All right, so I'm gonna hold this one here just to make sure that it dries a little bit more, and then I'm gonna do the same thing, just adding glue all the way to the next part where the score line is gonna be. And I'm gonna hold it here just a little bit more and just giving it a chance to bond and to dry. I might press it down here. And there we go. And then I'm gonna add some glue right here to start the next part. And just press and hold and give it a chance to dry there. Okay. So once you get the hang of it, you could probably actually start working a little bit faster. It's a little tricky for me, I think, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm staying inside the camera lens here. But, all right, there we go. And then once you've got this one down, everything should be good. You can kind of just go back and make sure that all of the tabs here are staying down. All right, and when you have all of that part done, now you're ready for the second piece. Now, when you go to glue the second piece, the part of this second piece that has all of the extra score lines here towards the bottom, that's gonna go right here along the kind of tail part of the shamrock. So we wanna start where it's more spread apart here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fold these down again, and then I will fold also along the score lines as well, just to make sure that those are good. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn it this way and just kind of use my thumb again once more, just breaking up the fibers of the paper here. Okay. So I'm going to fold this part, this tab here, and we're starting with the part where there's the larger gap from the score line to score line. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of glue here, and then we're going to glue this part together to seal off the opening. And then we're going to do the same thing, gluing right along the edge there. So I'm going to add glue to this tab. And then I'm going to add the glue right here just to get that started there. And then I'm going to bring them and allow them to meet. And I'm going to press and hold this before I even start gluing along the shamrock, because I want to make sure that these two pieces of paper are bonded together and that they're not going to come apart as I start gluing. So I've got that one there. And now I'm pressing right along the edge here. And that's looking good so far. So now I'm going to go back in on this part here, add some glue again right along there. And then I'm going to fold it this way so it's a little bit easier for me to see. And so it also meets. And press it down one more time, because sometimes when you press it down on the table, it actually makes it a little bit easier because it gives you like that third hand to help you to make sure that everything is secure here. So I've got the fold there right along where my score line is. And so you can see everything looks good on that part. I'm going to add some more glue along this side here. And oh no, the tab got stuck underneath, so I had to lift it up there for a second. All right, so I'm going to hold it now again in my hand for this part. Then I'm going to add a little bit more glue once more along this part here. And you're going to lift it up and then press it down, because like I said, pressing it on the table is super helpful because it creates that third hand for you. All right. That part kind of came off just a little bit there. Okay. So once you've come to the end here, what you need to do is make sure that this longer piece is now coming this way down towards the tail again of the shamrock. And it's going to be a little trickier to show you guys this part, but we're going to add the glue here, and then we're going to fold again and then add glue right there on top and then seal it up the other way. So I'm going to add my glue first right along, and this is slightly on a curve. So don't just add it straight down like it's a straight line. It's on a curve, a little bit of an angle. So when you press it down, just take your time, making sure that you're keeping the angle, and give it a few moments to dry and to adhere there. I'm going to use my bone folder right here, just kind of press this down just to make sure that it's gluing before I move on to the next section. So you can see it right there. That looks good. And then I've got this part here. I'm going to go ahead and add the glue right on top here. And then just lifting this part up. I'm also going to try and position myself up here a little bit higher. I'm going to hold it, give it a chance to dry, and then adding the glue right there, and then just kind of lifting this part up. And then pressing it down. And so again, both sides of this tail here are on an angle. So just make sure that you're not creating that straight line. And it's okay if you need to bend your paper here a little bit on that score line there. And then for the tab, just add a little bit of glue there again as well. And then we're going to seal it off and then press and hold, so that way it will bond and dry. And there we go. Okay. Whew. Oh, this one was a harder one to design too, because just so much of the curves here. Okay, so now the two shamrocks that have our triangles on them, you need to kind of figure out which one's going to fit inside. And it should go right in there. One will go very easily in. Did you see that, how that second one did? That's gonna go with the base, but the top one for the lid here, it's gonna be a little bit not as easy because they are different sizes, okay? So let me take this one out. I'm gonna go ahead, make sure your orientation is going the right way too, that you're not adding the glue to the wrong side. I'm gonna add a little bit of glue here to this shamrock. And then I'm gonna place it down right inside and then just press it to make sure that everything glues down, okay? So now we're ready to start the base. And so that looks good. All right, so I'm gonna put it off to the side. So now we're ready to start the base. We're gonna do the same steps. However, because this is the lid, it's gonna go this way. And so what we need to do is make sure that our base and our lid will fit right on top of each other like this. And I'm actually gonna have to flip it this way to make sure that the tail is going in the correct direction, which means that when I go to do the sides, I'm going to need to flip it this way and work backwards, okay? So again, check your orientation, make sure that the tail will fit over how you want the base to fit as well. Otherwise, if you do it the wrong way, they won't close together and it won't create the box shape, okay? So I'm going to make sure that mine is this way. And because of that, I want to make sure that my side here with the oval is going the correct way. So I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to start with this oval side, and I'm going to start here and begin to kind of work my way backwards, okay? So once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the tabs along here and just making sure that I get them all. When I get this one going, I will speed up the video because it's pretty much going to be the same exact thing. I'm going to use my thumb again to break up the fibers of the paper. And again, just making sure that the sides are going correctly. And I want to just double check it one more time to be sure that I'm going the right way. And I'm going to start by just adding a little bit of glue right here along the side. And then using my table again as like my third hand for support here, I'm gonna go ahead and press it down. Okay, and once you get this going, you can keep going all the way around to add the side here to your second shamrock. And I'm going to speed up the video so that way we're not just watching the same steps again. Okay, so once you have the second one done, we're going to do the same thing with adding our insert And you can see that this will, I had it going the wrong way. That's why it wasn't going down as nicely. And then this one will fit right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add the glue to this opposite side. And then you can go ahead and just press it right down onto the inside there. And it will help to kind of just hide all of those tabs so that way it doesn't look so messy. All right, so then just press everything down. And once you have that there, you can go ahead and add the lid. And so, once again too, when you're adding the lid, you might just need to squeeze some of the sides here to make sure that it goes. And once you have it, it'll be good. Now you're ready to add the upper layer. If you need to, just flip it to the other side and it will still work just fine, depending on the orientation there of that kind of tail part. Add a little bit of glue to the back. So you've got this layer here that has all of the design to it. Just really focus in on adding glue to a lot of the major parts, because once you have those down, because you'll be adding another layer on top, you don't really have to worry too much about it coming up at all. So when you have it, then just press it down. And this is just going to kind of finish off the box so it has a fun appearance. Then we're going to do the same thing here with this other top layer. It's going to give it that two-tone appearance. So I'm going to hold it there between my fingers, add my glue along the edges here. Now for this top layer, you really do want to make sure that you're adding the glue everywhere so that way no part of it rips or comes up, anything like that. And once you have it, then you can press it down and layer it right on top. And there you go. So we've created this cute little 3D shamrock box. And if you want, it is freestanding. You can see how it kind of goes like that, or you can take it and fill it with something on the inside. Now, if you remember, the top part here was a little bit longer, and that's okay because it's just going to kind of hide it here in the back a little bit more. Okay, so thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.